Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On this happy day, I would like to congratulate His Highness the Emir Sheikh Jabir Al-Ahmed Al-Jabir Sabah, His Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Sheikh Saad Al-Abdullah Salim Sabah, the Government of Kuwait, KTV2 viewers, and all Kuwaiti citizens and residents on the happy occasion of Kuwait's 39th National Day and the 9th Liberation Day. Thanks to Almighty Allah, Kuwait was liberated years ago. However, 9 years after the universally condemned invasion of Kuwait, more than 600 Kuwaiti and other prisoners of war are still held by the Iraqi regime that refuses to release any useful information about them. We were all happy because we got liberated, but this happiness was not complete because of the detention of our POWs. We realized that we had to pay bills for our work, but we can't accept that our POWs to be the price. We want them back by any means, and if they are not live, God forbids, we have the right to know. The damage was so great on our beloved country, but the damage in our hearts is greater. And how can we stop our suffering of the unknown destiny of our POWs? Years are passing and our hopes are still as they are. Last Thursday, again, many people went to Al-Mutla' near the Iraqi borders to be part of the public festival for the POW relatives and who is not related to our POWs in Kuwait. As I said, we are all suffering, and the families and friends of the POWs go over many different feelings. To overcome the negative effects of losing the economic and emotional support of the families of the POWs, and to help ourselves as we are forced to wait for the sun of freedom that won't be complete without our POWs. With us tonight, as we try to do something for our POWs, is Dr. Marwan Mtawa. He's a clinical psychologist, and also with us is Dr. Jassim Haji, a consultant of child psychology. I would like to welcome you with us, gentlemen, our show tonight.
Thank you very much, Abdullah.
It's my pleasure to be with you tonight and with our dear viewers live on air from KTV2 in the program tonight, The Sun of Freedom. If you'd like to participate with us tonight, as we're going to talk tonight about the POWs, you can call us on our direct phone number. You can see it on the screen. It's 2412602, the direct phone number 2412602, or maybe the ministry's number, that is 2415300. This is 2415300, or the extension number is 34000. We'd like to hear from you if you'd like to participate, ask our doctors, or maybe just to participate in this happy day, which we all try to remember our POWs in here. Now, again, gentlemen, Dr. Marwan Tawa and Dr. Jassim Haji, I'd like to welcome you, and maybe I can start with my questions. The first question that comes to my mind, we know that Kuwait was liberated in 1991. But the problem of the POW started before that, in 1990, on the 2nd of August. From the first day, people started to disappear. And later on, a lot of them did not come back. Now, some of them, they came back during the invasion and after the liberation, but some of them did not come till today. I wonder, what are the immediate feelings of the families of those POWs at that time, during the invasion time?
I think before we talk about the immediate psychological and social negative effects of being a POW, let us have a very short idea, very small idea, what kind of the punishment or procedures or tortures done by our POW by the Iraqi regime during the invasion. You know, one of the, Abdullah, one of the main things the Iraqi used to do with our POWs, they used a very inhumane tortures with our POW, and one of the main tortures is they tried to create a drug addicts among our POWs.
Yes.
I mean, they give them heroin injections.
So they will have control over them.
So the POWs will have, some of our POWs will have a negative withdrawal symptoms after a couple of days, and he suffer, and they cut the heroin from him in order to have the certain negative punishment among our POW. Yeah. Some of them had be under the is the victim of sexual harassment and sexual rape, and there are many things had done with our POWs. So the psychological and the negative impacts among themselves, the POW, and among our among their families, it was a tremendous. Many families lose the sense of security, lose the sense of emotional support. Imagine a family who lose their father or their mother. You know,
the support of the family.
Yeah. By the way, among our POWs now, 8 women
Right.
8 women still now considered to be a POWs. And imagine the kind of emotional trauma, and I call it emotional traumatic experience among their families, because just all of a sudden the Iraqi regime take our peoples from the street, from the mosque.
Most of them were civilians, right?
Most of them civilian,
Yes.
and very innocent, and all of a sudden the family, they lose their father or their brothers or their sisters, and some of them released after 2 weeks or 2 months. They had great negative psychological effects, and during this period, when the family lose their POWs, most of the families reported to us in the psychiatric clinic, they had sleep disturbance, lack of appetite among most of the families, lack of concentration, a very severe depressive episode.
We can only imagine, I mean, what those families of the POWs felt. Dr. Jassim, maybe you could help us or add to our information. Now, some families, their sons, the POWs, they came back. Some of them, they did not. Now, we have now in the same place, some neighbors, their sons came back, and with other families, still their sons did not come back. What do you think? I mean, how can you describe their feelings, those families, without, you know, having their sons coming
Well,
back?
I think they have mixed feelings, you know. Sometimes we have something called survivor guilt. Some of those POWs who have been returned home, some of them might develop survival guilt that I came back, how about my neighbor?
Yes.
And this would add more agony and will add more psychological problems and emotional stress to those POWs. But I would like to share something based on my own experience with children. You know, after invasion, right after invasion,
Yes.
I asked children to draw pictures because I would like to get deeper inside into
Yes.
their emotional status.
They would
and
reflect their
personality.
feelings through the drawings.
It's a kind of projection techniques. Yet a child had to draw, his father was in the middle, and surrounding him so many soldiers, okay, and all the blood is coming from his body, and he's laying. This is a psychological torture. Can you imagine a child with this kind of traumatic picture? This picture is intrusive, and the worst part of it, the feeling of helplessness. The child is being helpless because he cannot do anything to help his
And we're
father.
talking definitely about, what, 5, 6 years old, maybe, kids.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Marwan, we're sure that many of the POWs, they have children here and families. And many of them, they were, as we said at the beginning, they were the backbones of their families. Now, today, after 9 or maybe, well, 9 days, 9 years of the liberation and 10 years maybe of the detention of the POWs, what about their families? I mean, these days, how do they feel after all these years? Did they forget them? Are they doing better? Are they settled down?
Abdullah, I'll give you a case, a real case who I saw in my clinic. It's about, it's a child, 13 or 14 years old. Her father is a POW. The problem of this case, she refused to eat. Only 1 meal a day.
When was that?
That's 2-3 years
2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so many years after the
Yeah.
detention of her father.
She refused to eat. She put her hand near the fire in order to suffer the heat of the fire.
Strange.
Yes.
Why is that?
She said to me, I want to feel the suffering of my father. I know my father now he is
Captured in Iraq and
captured by the
suffering.
Iraqis. He is feeling not good. I want to feel his pain.
She wants to share maybe
Yeah, so she began to punish herself by burning herself. And it's real burning.
She was doing this maybe unconsciously, right?
Sometimes unconsciously, sometimes consciously. She refused to attend any ceremony, in any kind, because she had a feeling of guilt. Why I am so happy?
Yeah, this is what Dr. Jassim just mentioned, maybe.
Why I'm so
The feel of
happy
guilt.
and my father is not happy.
I see.
In the cold weather now, for example, she said my father now, he feel cold. She tried to sleep without any covers, without any things to feel the cold weather. At the last day of the last sessions, I remember, she told me, please, Dr. Marwan, hit me in your car.
My goodness.
I want to die. I said to her, why you want to die? I said, perhaps my father is not living anymore. He's dying now. So I want to be in his grave. I want to, my soul, live with his soul, identify with his soul. It is a very strange case, and by the way, it's her age 14 or now 15 years old.
Dr. Jassim, maybe, I mean, you could help us since you're a specialist with children, child psychology. How can we deal, I mean, not particularly with this case, because I'm sure Dr. Marwan did his best at that time, but with those children, I mean, who have this feel of guilt, I mean, how can we help them? What should they do, I mean, or their families to help them overcome such a thing?
Well, the most important part here, Abdullah, it's we are talking about uncertainty.
Yes.
We are talking about here grief in limbo. Grief in limbo, it's a hard reaction, a depression, okay, and emotional stress. We are talking about uncertainty. They don't know what's going to happen next. And children are going through growth. They are growing and growing, and they are going through the developmental stage. In these developmental stages, they are having emotional trauma and psychological trauma and depression. And you know, it's very hard for them because they will face psychological disorder in the future, like depression and conduct disorder and lack of concentration and so many other
negative Well, Dr. Jassim, we all share our families, the families of POWs, these feelings. And also, maybe I think we have a pre-recorded report here, interview prepared by our director, about the concerns of people regarding our POWs. So maybe if we can watch it together with our dear viewers.
What do you think of the media coverage on our POWs?
Here in Kuwait, it's more than enough. But internationally, it's need more coverage. Why don't we put our case in satellite channels like CNN, BBC, for examples?
Since your uncle is a POW, what can you do to help him out?
Well, what can I do? But suffering and waiting for him. All that I can do is I hope that my uncle and all of the POWs will come back as soon as possible they can.
It's not reasonable to keep any person such a long period as POW. In fact, it's not God's plan to keep anybody as a prisoner.
Do you think there's enough media coverage for the POWs in the region?
In fact, no, actually no. I think sometimes they are ignored, they are totally ignored, and we should remember them every day. And our media, I mean in general, not in just Kuwait, in the Gulf region, they should never forget them because they are us. So if you forget them and they are ignored, no, this is not enough.
Have you heard about Kuwaiti POWs that are held in Iraq?
Yes, I do.
And do you know much about them?
Yes, but not very much because in Dubai, you know, we are only hearing in the newspaper on television, but I don't know about it very much.
شنو رأيك بقضية الأسرى الكويتيين الموجودين في العراق؟
والله يا اخوي مثل ما قلت لك اول ما تكلمت يعني احساس ما عنده لو كان عنده احساس هذول حاجزهم 7 اشهر اقول 10 سنوات عندهم انا كنت بالغزو ما طلعت انا كنت موجود هنا بالكويت واخذوا قدامي حملوا بهالباصات لا بالمصايد بكل مكان يعني ما خلى شيء ما حملوه ليش السبب ما نعرف السبب شنو اللي هو مطلب اللي هو يبيه احنا عارفينه شنو يعني حاجزهم صاك عليهم فقار عيالهم يبكون اهلهم يبكون يطوف عليهم عيد رمضان يعيد الثاني لا يشوفون اهلهم لا يشوفون احدهم حرام يعني شيء مو زين يعني
ان شاء الله يا رب يطلعون بالسلامه وديرتهم ان شاء الله سالمين ومستانسين كلنا فيهم ان شاء الله.
Do you think the media coverage on our POWs is good enough globally?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It should be more concentrated outside of Kuwait. You should go to solve this problem, or at least to attract the others toward this very critical problem concerning Kuwait and the others with, not with emotions, you know, mentally, because nobody now listen to the emotions. This is one point. Second point, it should be, you can say, have several activities. Not only one association from government go there. A lot of private associations they can do or cooperate. So in Kuwait, everybody knows this problem. Everybody like to solve this problem, which is, whether we have or don't have prisoners, we are toward these people, really. And we are like to solve this problem for everybody. You know, one missed father, other missed brother, and so on. From the point of humanity, everybody is helping this point. But what I want to say is to go outside of Kuwait, go straight away to the Western, who has more authority to do action rather than others.
Welcome back, our dear viewers. With you, Ben Salim, on the program of the Sun Freedom, and with me tonight also our guest, Dr. Marwan Tawa, the clinical psychologist, and also Dr. Jassim Hajia, the consultant of child psychology. Well, with us also on the line is Mr. Daij Al-Anizi, the General Manager of the National Committee for Missing and POWs Affairs. Mr. Daij Al-Anizi, would like to welcome you with us tonight.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Mr. Al-Anizi, Daij Al-Anizi, could you just brief us or give us an idea about who are the POWs and why sometimes we call them detainees, sometimes we call them hostages, and sometimes we call them POWs? And what is the situation right now with our POWs?
First of all, I have to thank everybody participating in this program for this good opportunity for us to highlight our tragedy and agony of the Kuwaiti people in this program.
It's our pleasure, Mr. Al-Anizi.
To start with, there is no much difference between a POW or a detainee or a missing. As a matter of fact, everybody, and we have the proof and the evidence that those people being picked up by the Iraqi military, they have been jailed in Kuwait, transported to Basra, jailed in Basra, and moved to other jails in Baghdad.
How many of them are there now?
605.
605?
Yes.
Okay.
So the tragedy continues, whether the terminology of a missing or a POW or a detainee or a hostage, as far as we are concerned, they are boys and girls, they are our family, they are our people. We are really missing them since 1990, August the 2nd.
Yeah, we are missing them, whether they are children, adults, males, females.
Actually, there are 7 women part of those POWs, and there is about 120 students. The age, the youngest of all those POWs, when he been arrested by the Iraqi military army, he was 14 at that time.
Mr. Al-Anizi, since we have the psychologist with us tonight, I mean, how can we assure the families of the POWs and the people of Kuwait who are concerned about our POWs that they are still alive? How do you know?
Definitely, we have our sources. Definitely, we have our intelligence. But, you know, for the security of those people, for the security of the source of information, we maintain this information only to us.
What do you think?
Number one. Number two, we are certain, we are definitely sure that those people were alive because we had the witnesses of proving that every one of them was in Iraq, and the witnesses have already stated their witnesses. Actually, to the last incident, I just came back from Amman, Jordan yesterday, and I have interviewed through the International Red Cross an Iraqi witness who had confirmed that he had seen those Kuwaitis POWs in Baghdad. That was only yesterday afternoon when I was in Amman, Jordan. Just to assure you that we keep our eyes open, our ears open. We're looking for every evidence to prove to the Iraqi authorities, to the international community, that those people are there suffering, and our families here going through this tragedy and agony, which we all share this with them.
Well, Mr. Lanizi, we really appreciate your call, and we know that we wish that you were with us tonight, but we know that you had some commitments, but you wanted to be with us tonight and through this call. Now, before we leave you go, Mr. Lanizi, just one final question.
Yes,
we know that in the National Committee for Missing and POWs and also in the Kinsfolk Association of Kuwaiti Hostages and Detainees, you're trying your best to help the families, whether financially or to support them in any way. Now, how can you, or do you think that the families of the POWs still need, maybe, do you have any kind of consultation maybe through the
definitely.
psychologist to help them?
Yes, sir. Let me assure you first, we could be the most generous state in the whole world who really helps the POWs.
And I have no doubt on that.
Financially or otherwise.
Psychologically, this is what I'm
that's
concerned
number
about.
one. Number two, we are supporting these families by counseling. We are visiting them a minimum of once or twice a month for counseling. We are receiving them in the committee almost every day. We are supervising the children of those POWs in the schools, regardless of what he is in elementary up to the university. We are monitoring their grades. We are visiting them. We're talking to them. We almost doing everything possible to replace the absenteeism of this POW to his family. Definitely we cannot do it all, but we are trying our best. But we know that the sky is the limit. It will be impossible to make the family happy without this POW available part of the family.
يعطيكم العافية and God bless you, and we also are trying our best in here maybe to just give the message for our POWs and all the people around the world that we have not definitely forgotten our POWs.
It's my pleasure and our high appreciation for this couple of minutes you have spent with this issue. Thank you so much for you and for everybody in Kuwait TV.
Thank you, Mr. Lanizi, from the General Manager of the National Committee for Missing and POWs Affairs.
Thank you, sir.
Going back to our guest in here, Dr. Jassim Haji, a consultant of child psychology, and Dr. Marwan Tawa, the clinical psychologist. We saw the short report in here about the media coverage in here, and we are here tonight. Now, as psychologists, what do you think? How much is important the media coverage for the families and for the people around the world to talk about the case of our POWs? What do you think as psychologists?
I think the media coverage so far put a great concentration on the suffering of the families, which is a very positive thing to show to the world that the families, sister, brothers, fathers, mothers of the POWs still suffer and still feel pain, and it's difficult for them to forget every day, every single minute, the presence, the absence of their POWs.
Mm-hmm.
This is one main part. The second part is the programs would deal with the conversation and the analysis of the psychological, negative psychological impact and social impact of being under POWs and the family lives and how they express, and this is very important things. We should help the families through the programs to express their emotion, to express their angers, because one of the main problems for many families is the repressing of their anger, okay? And this caused many psychological disease. So giving them the media, the way to emotionally ventilize their emotions, their anger, their stress, would help their families and would show to the world that still we are not fully liberated, I think.
Exactly. Dr. Jassim, since you work with children, don't you think it's possible maybe that through the media we can have special programs for children of the POWs and the other children to maybe make them more aware about the POWs case? What do you think? Is this possible?
It's possible. That's also it's very important because the media here is dealing with the issue, and that's very good because by not focusing on the issue, we are helping negatively the families of the POW keep denying the situation and denying the pain. But we need also to teach children how to react with the trauma. We need to teach children what's the best way into facing this problem. What is the best way into conquering the disorder and the pain and what is going on. Also, there is one very important matter here.
Yes.
The anniversaries. Always anniversaries with loss is very, very painful.
What do you mean by anniversaries? Celebrating the national day?
Celebrating
and the liberation day?
Yeah, the losing date of somebody.
Yes.
We are talking because most of the people, or most of the POWs,
they count the days and the years. They have
yeah. Yes. And when it comes liberation days or the national days,
happy moments with some tragical moments together.
So here, where like the defense mechanism is low, and all the psychological trauma.
We have mixed feelings, Dr. Marwan.
Yes, I'm wondering about one thing which caused me during my experience, and I see, by the way, Dr. Jassim, many children who lose their beloved one.
The martyrs, maybe?
Yeah. The problems is it is very difficult to help the child how to cope with this loss.
Mm-hmm.
For the child, it's very difficult for him,
yes,
to accept the loss for more than nine years now.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe the adults they can deal with that, but children, yeah, I mean, they grow up.
I mean, the adults, they can understand the situation.
Right.
Okay. They have the defense mechanism,
right,
which help them
to deal with,
to cope, to rationalize, to compensate different defense mechanisms.
And also, Dr. Marwan, sometimes when we talk about children, we're talking about, let's say, few months or 1 year child who lost his father, or his father was a POW from that time, and now he's growing up.
Yes.
So what are we supposed to do with such cases?
I think it's very difficult for the children to help them or to teach them to cope with this crisis, because for Kuwait, it is the first time in the life of the Kuwait society
to have such a thing.
To have such a huge tragedy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
for many yeah, I met one of these children. He said to me, if my father is passed away or die, I would accept this fact.
But we don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If they know for sure, then this is okay.
This is the feeling of uncertainty.
Right.
Whether my life is
Dr.
dying
Jassim mentioned at the beginning.
or not dying.
Mm-hmm. Now, don't you agree also that some families...
excuse me, when I talk about programs for children, I don't talk about therapy.
Yes.
I talk about counseling. I talk
recreational
about teaching. No, not that in specific. I talk about how the child can deal with his anger, how the child can concentrate more.
The negative effects of losing.
Yes. Yes.
The support of the family.
And this gives the child the mastering ability to cope with his...
No, the problem is not only with children, because also till today, I know that some families of POWs, even till today, Dr. Mutawwa, you mentioned at the beginning a very good example of the child, but also the adults. Some of them, they just refuse to touch, let's say, the room or the things, the stuff of the POW. I mean, is this okay? Is this okay for them to comfort them? Or should they, go ahead and use the car maybe of the POW or his stuff? How should they do?
Well, I think for them, they consider using the things and the material things of their
his room, his car,
his car of the POWs. They had a strange feeling of guilt. Okay, they consider as a conspiracy to have or to use these things as if they are in their deep unconscious. They admit their father or their brother is dying now, and they have the right to use his things.
So what is our role? How can we help them as friends and families?
I think we should teach them. We should give them brief counseling to help them to cope with their reality that there is a problems and life should goes on.
Mm-hmm.
They should. I mean, it would be a very happy moment for their beloved one when they. Inshallah, we'll be happy when they come back again. They would love to see their families, their brother, their sister, their wife is happy, not suffering from psychological disease or psychological problems. So I think it is very rational to be happy now, to have certain festivals, parties, to use their things. Okay, this doesn't mean that we forget them. I mean, some people mix the issues.
Life still has to go on, as you
Life
said.
still has to go. They have to go to the school, to the university, they have to work, they have to marry.
Right.
This is...
Dr. Jassim, how do you
Well,
explain what happened on Thursday for several years now? This is going on. Many families of the POWs going to Al-Mutla'. Al-Mutla' is an area near the Iraqi borders. They go there, a lot of them, the families of the POWs and those people who support them. And many of the Kuwaiti citizens and residents of Kuwait to show that we support you. They go there to, to be part of this festival for the POWs. I mean, what is the significance of the place in here?
I think this is a very good thing, and this is very therapeutic for all of them, because they are celebrating the anniversary in such a positive way. Because sometimes in anniversaries, some people would react in a negative way. Some of them would oversleep, some would overeat, some would do some negative things. But they are dealing with it in such a positive way, which is very good.
And the significance of the place, maybe also.
Also, this is the most important part, is hope. I think it's very important that all of us, we have to teach our children, we have to teach the children of POWs not to lose hope. Hope is something very important, and that will get them going, and they will help them deal with such horrible emotions.
Psychologically, in Al-Mutla', the festival in Al-Mutla',
near the Iraqi borders.
Near the Iraqi borders, for the families of the POWs, I think they want to feel in their deep inside that we are nearby our POWs.
Physically and not just
physically.
by
heart. Okay.
Which is really a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an unwritten message for them that we are nearby you. Don't lose hope.
Right.
Okay. We can smell you. We can feel you.
And this is very important message for the POWs. I would like to elaborate and talk about this, as Dr. Jassim talked about hope and being physically close to the POWs. But before we do so, we have maybe a short break in here. Salim Sabah, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, the government of Kuwait, and all people on the happy occasion of Kuwait's 39th National Day and the 9th Liberation Day. And we all pray for the Almighty Allah to bless our martyrs and to return our POWs very soon. Take good care of yourselves, and I would like to thank my team here in KTV2, our directors Hussein Murad and Hitham Saigh, and all of the crew for allowing us to be with you tonight and to bring you just something very small for the sake of our POWs. Thank you, and take good care of yourselves.